Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we'll talk about several traps which you need to know as a player who starts with move 1 e4. So the first thing we'll talk about is after e4, e5, knight f3, which is the main move, attacking the pawn. Some of your opponents, especially on the lower level, will respond with pawn f6. Which is bad. Why is it bad? Let me show you. After f6, you will sacrifice your knight. Why? Because you want to play queen h5. So you take, they take, queen h5 fork. If they block, you take. Now we have a new fork, you get the rook. Let's go back. If they move the king, it's even worse. Queen takes. King moves, bishop check. The best move for black is to block with a pawn. And then he's just really losing but not getting checkmated. The point is he needs to get the bishop out. Everything else, as you can see, it's a very quick checkmate. King g6 we check. King h6 we open up the bishop, we check again. If he blocks with the queen, we checkmate. If he blocks with a pawn, we are going to put more pressure with pawn h4, and the fun continues. Okay. One last thing I want you to know about our first idea, our first trap, is after knight e5, if they don't want to completely die, they'll play queen e7. The point being is your knight is pinned to your pawn, and it looks like you're going to queen h5, but be careful, queen h5 here is not so good, because after g6, it looks like you can take advantage of the spin and take, but the problem is now when black takes, he forks, and you will lose your knight. So in this world, so let's say black queen takes. So in this world, if your opponent all of a sudden stumbles upon this move, which is not very likely, we'll simply drop the knight back, we'll give up this pawn. If they take, we block with the bishop. On the next move, we'll gain time on the queen. We will castle, and we have a big lead in development. Okay, so this is trap number 1. Trap number 2, which you need to know, is in the Petrov defense, if they keep copying you. After knight here, it's important that black plays d6 and forces your knight away. Of course, black can also play the Stafford. The Stafford has its own problems. I talked about how to play against the Stafford in a different video. To sum it up, if they do play the Stafford, we're going to take the knight. And when they take back, we'll simply play f3, defend the pawn. If they try bishop here, we'll play c3, d4. And if we go back, it looks like they have a similar trick to what we talked about. Let's say they take. This is absolutely fine, because this does not work. Because after black takes, the problem for black is we block and black cannot take our rook. So if we go back, after we take, black needs to attack us, but occasionally black will copy. Copying is not very good, and the logic is simple, we play queen e2. Attacking the knight. If the knight moves, we have a tactic. Our queen points to the king, so knight c6, winning the queen with a discovery. Note, we cannot do this because king takes knight. If black doesn't move, if black defends the knight, we make him move anyway. The best case scenario for black is to try to only lose a pawn instead of a knight. So for example, queen e7, attacking our knight, we take that knight, they take our knight, and we take the pawn with a pin, and we up a pawn. Okay, so this is trap number 2. And one last trap that I want you to know from this video happens in this world. After bishop c4, a lot of your opponents will play this very tricky move, knight d4. It's not very good. The simplest thing you can do is just trade knights, but it's important not to get greedy and grab this pawn. Because, for example, if you do, black will fork. If you decide to get really greedy and fork back, you will lose. For example, queen takes pawn, attacking the rook. Let's say white saves the rook. Black checks. If white blocks with the queen, he loses the queen. If white blocks with the bishop, he gets checkmated. For example. So, if you want to avoid all this, you should not take, after knight d4, you should not take this pawn. This will lead to trouble. You should simply take, and then first you will castle, and then after black does whatever, you will eventually deal with this pawn. So for example, if black plays something like Nf6, attacking our pawn, we'll play rook e1 defending, and then we will soon play something like c3. By the way, if we go back, if black is not careful and plays bishop c5, which a lot of your opponents will, because the bishop would like to defend the pawn, notice our queen from here points in 2 directions. So we can take, after they take back, we have this fork. So that's important. And if they play normal chess, again, Nf6, rook e1, and then let's say they play bishop c5 now, you can, well, there are many moves which work, but first we can ask this knight some very, very uncomfortable questions, and then eventually you'll play this. So to sum it up, 3 traps which I wanted to remember. Number 1, after e4, e5, knight f3, f6, you take here. Trap number 2, after e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6 takes, black should not take because of queen e2, with the idea that if the knight moves, we have a discovery. And trap number 3, remember not to fall for knight takes pawn, but simply play knight takes knight. I hope these 3 traps will help you in your games. I will be back soon. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. I'll be back soon.